Coachella just announced their 2026 advance sale starting Friday, May 2nd for only $49 down, and the rest split in monthly payments up until December. Y'all, this is probably the most convenient and affordable way to do Coachella. Last year, we put $49 down and then broke it evenly in 6 monthly payments from June all the way to December. I already know I'm going to go, so I'm going to lock in and get the pre-sale. But if you guys didn't go this year, let me know if y'all trying to go next year. Stay tuned for more festival tips and tricks.
How far would you go financially to attend a festival? According to Billboard, 60% of Coachella attendees this year are using Coachella's payment plan to pay for their tickets. General admission costs around $599. Obviously, resale is going to be so much higher. Payment plan requires an upfront fee of $49.99, which makes it a lot more affordable for attendees to secure their tickets. 60% did not sound like a lot to you just by itself. We also have to remember that it's about 80,000 to 100,000 fans every weekend. 60% of that is... You do the math. If you've ever been to a festival, you know that the cost of the ticket is not the only thing. If you're staying in close proximity of the festival grounds, then that's money spent there, and then food, drinks, and even if you're buying a plane ticket to come from out of town and forget the merch, there's just so many things that add up. So I understand the need for this payment plan. It's also just worth mentioning that Coachella is not the only festival that does this. There are other festivals that also do payment plans, which I think is just reflecting a broader industry trend to accommodate more attendees and the rise in costs. I think also the bigger question is just like, how much is too much for a festival? A festival as big as Coachella, I get it. It's just getting more and more expensive to attend, but at some point, is it just too expensive to attend? Please let me know what you guys think of in the comments below. I would really love to hear everyone's opinion. Like, would you use a payment plan, or do you think at that point, if you need one, you're just not attending at all?
Yeah, our generation is super cooked. So Coachella released their financial information and basically reported that about 60% of attendees were using payment plans to go to the concert. Now, I'll tell you why this is a bad thing and what it tells us about our financial habits. Coachella is basically one of the biggest music concerts in the entire world. And general admission usually starts about $650, but that doesn't include lodging, flights, food, outfits. Everything adds up to thousands of dollars. And I get it. I'd love to go to Coachella and see my favorite artists too. But the way people are spending, back in 2009, only 18% of attendees did the buy now, pay later plan for Coachella. Now it's gone up to 60%. This is just crazy because the reliance of the buy now, pay later plan is just spreading for everything that's non-essential. And it's not just Coachella. People are financing everything from first dates to designer bags to even takeout orders. Nearly 50% of Gen Z is using buy now, pay later services for purchasing things they just can't afford. Yes, while payment services such as PayPal, Affirm, Klarna is basically offering you flexibility to buy the stuff, it can lead to phantom debt and financial strain, especially if you miss your payments. As much as I support people seeing their favorite artists at Coachella, I don't support the fact that people are taking out payment plans to buy tickets. You really need to reevaluate your financial choices, and it just cannot be the trend that we're all following. What do you guys think? Is this the new normal that we should accept? Let me know.
I totally hear you, girl. Let me explain how the payment plan works. In the 3 years that I've been to Coachella, I have gotten each of my tickets with the payment plan. As you can see here, you only need to pay $49.99 on the day that you get your tickets, which would be Friday during the pre-sale, in order to start the payment plan. And this goes for tickets. It also goes for if you wanted to do car camping or tent camping or any of the other experiences that they have on the website. I've done car camping and I've stayed in a hotel offsite. For the payment plan, you're going to be paying monthly in equal transactions until March 7th. Obviously, that depends on how many tickets you buy, if you're buying for yourself and someone else, if you're buying a car camping pass. So your amount's going to look a little different, like based on what you're buying. I bought me and my boyfriend's pass and a car camping, but I don't think I'm car camping anymore. So I might be selling that later, but I got all those three and the payment comes out to about $150 a month. But I got mine back in May, so I know it's split into like slightly different payments. I don't know. I've also done this one too, and I've never paid more than $150 a month. And I am not rich, so I just budget for that. But the payment plan makes it like a really accessible option if you're trying to go to Coachella, but you can't dish all that out at once because like, seriously, who can afford all that at once, you know? And there's no interest or anything. It's just a fee of $41 that's added on. And I think you just pay that like split up in the monthly payment. But yeah, there's no interest, no credit check, nothing like that. It's not associated with your credit. It's just a payment plan that AXS offers yearly. If you want to go, I highly recommend snapping up tickets while they have the payment plan. It says on the website that you have a better chance of getting tickets if you buy weekend 2, but I've bought for weekend 2 and weekend 1 in the times I've been going to Coachella, and It's not, I don't think they're telling the truth on that. I think it's pretty equal to get ticket. Like, you have an equal chance, I think. From someone who has bought tickets several years, I also bought tickets last year. I wasn't able to attend, but from someone who's bought Coachella tickets like 4 years in a row, I don't think you're gonna have a problem with whatever weekend you want to go to. Of course, if for whatever reason, you can't afford it right now, there are always scalpers, and there are always people on Facebook Marketplace selling tickets for less than, closer to the event. And I'll make more videos on that when the time comes, but honestly, I don't always find that completely trustworthy. I'd rather just buy from the source. But some people like are actually selling them. Like, they're not scammers. Like, it is an option if that's like something that you are looking to do when the festival dates get closer. I'll be going weekend 1, so follow me for more Coachella tips.
Yo, what's up? Where's all my Coachella fans at? I got 2 weekend 1 Coachella tickets for sale, $700 each. All right, 2 tickets for weekend 1. Weekend 1 is already sold out. So serious buyers only, let me know, spread the word. I got 2 Coachella tickets, $700 each. Yeah, get at me, Coachella.
Did you know that more than half of the people who are going to Coachella GA this year are using a payment plan to pay for their ticket? I'm getting this information from a new Billboard story by Dave Brooks, who's our live music reporter. And what he found in his reporting is that this is a result of live music prices soaring in recent years. Approximately 60% of the general admission tickets sold for Coachella this year used a payment plan. This means that some fans were required to only pay as little as $49.99 to put their money down for a ticket this year. And this is not just a Coachella phenomenon either. Lollapalooza, EDC, and Rolling Loud also do the same thing. Oh, and I thought this part was crazy. So there's this one source who told Billboard that he knows of people who are, paying 4 or 5 festivals at a time on payment plans. Experts agree that this has fundamentally changed the way that festivals are marketed. Because your general festival buyer is going to be a 20-something, and as a fellow 20-something, I know that sometimes we don't have a lot of cash on hand. So as this source puts it, festivals are now marketing a cheap down payment as their main call to action. The messaging is put $20 down, it gets you in the door, or $50 down to get you started. It's no longer about the artists or the festival lifestyle. The message is, you can afford this if you act today. This isn't using like one of these trendy new startups like Klarna or something like that. This is usually a service provided by AXS, Ticketmaster, or Frontgate. But if you do want to do one of these payment plans, it can be kind of expensive, and it's just like another ticket fee. According to this reporting, ticket buyers are charged a $41 fee for using Coachella's payment plan. But honestly, this all makes sense. Like I said, I'm a 20-something too, and Coachella is expensive. It's not just the ticket price, you also usually need somewhere to stay. Transportation to and from the festival is tough. And then of course the outfits too. So I'm interested to see if this trend will keep growing as the economy gets more and more shaky.
Apparently, half the tickets sold for Coachella were bought using a payment plan. Like, people are spending $20, $30, $40 a month to pay off their Coachella ticket. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be doing that, but I feel like if you had to finance a fucking Coachella ticket, maybe you should think about how you're spending your money. And look, I know tickets are like $400 or $500. Yes, they're expensive, but like having to finance a monthly fucking payment for a Coachella ticket, and I kind of feel like this is on the same level of people who use payment plans for DoorDash. Like, because remember like a month or two ago, they added in the thing that you can use payment plans for like your $20 meal. And I feel like, maybe at that point, you probably shouldn't be ordering DoorDash. And it's the same thing for this, because like I said, I understand we don't have a lot of money. I understand that, you want to have a good time, enjoy your life. I get that. But like going broke for Coachella, that's just not smart. And look, I understand, sure, for some people, it probably works out better. You can do the monthly payments, whatever, so you have more liquid cash. But at the same time, also, if you don't have the money to buy it up front, usually it's probably not a good idea to purchase it anyways. Like, I feel like, paying monthly, payments are better for like cars or, actual assets, and not a Coachella ticket.
I know this probably ain't a big deal to y'all, but this is low-key concerning to me. 60% of Coachella attendees finance their tickets to attend the festival, according to Billboard. 60% of the 100,000 attendees are paying an average of $50 per month for some concert tickets. The fact that literally everything is becoming available for buy now, pay later services shows that the economy is either that bad or people have that much instant gratification. And I know some of y'all gonna say, well, I got the money and I still use it. And that's cool. I understand that if that's just how you want to rock, but I feel like majority of people don't have it, and this is their way to still experience things knowing they really can't afford it. And that's going to turn into an even bigger issue. I could be wrong though. But for me, this is just a way for the greedy, the corporations, to stoop down and say, okay, we see the economy, we see that prices are steadily rising, wages are staying stagnant, let's meet them where they at. We know they can't afford these tickets. Let's make it to where they can make payments on it. And that's the trick. That's the goal. Like this, I don't feel like none of this is to help nobody. And I know some of y'all gonna get in here and say, well, life is to be lived. This life too short, YOLO, all this, that, and the third. But I'm telling y'all, bro, I promise you, I used to have that same mentality, but this stuff is not, you're not gonna miss this. You're not gonna miss this stuff when you look at it a year or two later. Especially if it's causing you to be hindered financially later on in the future. This is low-key, I was low-key, this blew my mind when I seen it. I ain't gonna lie.
The guy who created the Coachella payment plan. When ticket prices soared to nearly $1,000 for the general admission, excluding additional costs from lodging, travel, and food, I saw an opportunity. By introducing a payment plan, requiring a $49.99 down payment, I made the festival seem accessible. However, this plan would cost a $41 fee, and if payments were missed, attendees received a Coachella credit instead of a refund. This strategy led to approximately 60% increase in attendance using the payment plan. While it appeared to democratize access, it increased financial strain on young adults, many of whom are managing multiple payment plans from various festivals. Critics have pointed out this only benefits festival organizers financially while potentially exacerbating attendees' debt. In essence, the payment plan was a calculated move to boost ticket sales and revenue, all the while presenting an image of inclusivity for you peasants.
Coachella has a credit problem. Let's talk about it. Coachella isn't just a festival anymore. It's a fintech funnel where vibes are free, but liquidity isn't. This year, 60% of GA ticket buyers didn't just buy tickets, they financed them. Coachella's payment model has become a micro-lending engine in disguise. And this installment system isn't technically credit. No underwriting, no reporting, no legal recourse, just vibes and phantom debt. Fans are now balancing 4 to 5 festival payments at once. That's not speculation, that's from Billboard. Buy now, pay later users have 70% higher odds of revolving on a credit card, nearly 43% overdraft. Many owe more than their card limit allows. They're not planning the party, they're surviving the repayment schedule. And this creates a compounding financial exposure not captured in FICO scores. It's why economists call it phantom debt, because no one can see the iceberg forming. And once you're in the desert, it doesn't get much better. $102 for cold tacos, 2 lemonades, and a seat on a curb. That might as well be a WeWork hot desk. Weekend 2 is historically better, but even that can't unboil a frog. So if festivals are now fintech experiments, then vibes cost APR, and no one reads the terms.
More than half of the 100,000 people attending each weekend are on a payment plan. If you were to buy a general admission ticket for weekend 2 right now, you have the option to pay 18 installments of $39 over the next year and a half, instead of the $700 upfront.
People want what they can't have.
It's kind of wild, and even Uber Eats has started offering buy now, pay later. You can literally finance your pizza.
You can't afford it. Just get some ramen.
Would you use a payment plan to afford a Coachella ticket?
I'll be so honest, I couldn't imagine going into debt to go to Coachella.
Some are actually calling this financially smart because unlike a usual loan, there's not a lot of added interest here. Others say it's aesthetic debt culture.
Very short term, you can rationalize, and for that moment, you can feel, oh, this is good, this is okay, I'm not really spending a lot of money, but it always comes back.
So with this, you're assuming that people don't have the cash to pay for it up front. My understanding is most of these people can pay for it up front. It just feels easier for them to do it in payments.
There's all these crazy videos about how expensive Coachella is. Let's talk about how much I spent at Coachella 2025. In total at the festival, I spent like $63. I bought 4 slices of pizza, 2 bottles of water, and 1 White Claw. I was very intentional about eating before I went into the festival because the prices are so high for everything there. It just did not make sense to me to like go in with the intention to eat. I bought 2 slices of pizza on day 1, and that was because I did not want to go back to my campsite and risk losing my spot for the Gaga performance. The other 2 slices of pizza were yesterday, and that was because I ran out of food at my campsites. It is my belief that Coachella does not have to be expensive. You just have to be intentional about what you're doing and how you're doing it. Anyways, bye.
A report came out that said 60% of people are on payment plans for their Coachella tickets.
I mean,
and I feel like that's basically where the whole world is headed.
Yeah, like nobody. Concerts are insanely expensive. Everything is expensive. I'm not surprised by this. by this news. I'm not surprised at all.
Let me de-influence you really quick because, like everybody else, my entire social media feed was covered with influencers, celebs, and even personal friends at Coachella this weekend, and everybody looked like they were having the best time ever. But I cannot stress this enough, social media is a highlight reel. Switching to voiceover because I can't multitask, don't get me wrong, Coachella is called the Influencer Olympics for a reason, and those people did have an amazing time. As an influencer myself, let me explain how this works. They got comped VIP passes, pulled cute clothes from a showroom for free, likely stayed at a house on a brand's dime, and had all of their transportation, food, and drinks covered. The only thing that they likely shelled out for was some super cute merch. But the dirty little secret for everyone else is that over 60% of regular general admission ticket holders, the people who actually go to enjoy the festival, they had to use a payment plan to afford tickets this year. A general admission ticket for a Coachella weekend 3 days is around $700, and once you factor in travel, housing, food, drinks, clothes, and merch, you're looking at a couple $1,000s in spending easy. And it's certainly not the ritzy experience you're seeing from the rich and famous. Regular people very literally cannot compete, not just with the influencers, but they don't have the budgets these brands have to shell out on making these experiences post-worthy, which is the whole point. These brands pay for influencers to go to these fun events knowing that they're going to get a bunch of free content out of it. That's why it's worth the investment to them. This is all to say, while it's really easy to get caught up in keeping up with the Joneses, especially now that the Joneses are the Kardashians, financial hardship is not worth that IG pic, I promise you. Coachella lasts a weekend, but credit card debt could last years.
Can everyone just afford Coachella now? Well, kind of. Coachella has always been pretty unaffordable for most people unless you're rich, an influencer, or both. But don't worry, Coachella came up with a solution for all of us. Coachella payment plans. General admission is about $600. This is before hotels, transportation, flights, hotels, food, merch, and all the things you're gonna need for this trip. Not only are you paying $600 for the ticket, but all the other stuff I just listed, easily probably over $1,000 weekend, maybe $2,000 weekend. And this year, 60% of the GA ticket buyers used this Coachella payment plan, putting down as little as $50 to lock it in. This is way cheaper than a fan might pay financing a ticket on their credit card. Almost sounds like a payment plan is a rebrand of credit cards for Gen Z. And Coachella isn't the only festival embracing this. We have Lollapalooza, EDC, and Rolling Loud. It's not that festivals are getting cheaper. It's just easier to trick your brain into thinking it's cheaper and you can afford it. And let's be real, most of the people using these payment plans are in their 20s because the Coachella vibes, the festival vibes. Look, I'm not judging anyone who uses it. If this is your dream weekend and you want to make it work, by all means go for it. But personally, when I think of a payment plan, I think of stuff like cars, rent, even like a new phone. Like a music festival doesn't pop in my head. Like if I have to go on a payment plan just to attend a festival, it's just probably a sign I can't afford to go. So when you see everyone flashing that they're at Coachella having the best time of their lives, there's 60% of the people there are on a payment plan. All the glitz and glamour you see online always isn't that glitz and glamour in real life.
I just saw that 60% of y'all that are at Coachella right now financed your tickets. Financed. Like, have y'all not seen Caleb Hammer on TikTok yelling at people for doing stupid shit? This is one of those stupid things that you did. You financed your ticket. I looked up the tickets. They're like anywhere from like $700 to like, I think high $1,800 maybe. Pretty solid, pretty expensive tickets. Now, if you can't afford to go, oh my God, guess what? Maybe you shouldn't go. Maybe you shouldn't take out a payment plan to go to Coachella. Post Malone and Ed Sheeran and Megan Thee Stallion ain't worth that much for you to go put up a payment plan for $70 a month. And half of y'all that are going, more than half of y'all that are going, probably got $100,000 to $150,000 in student loans that you have to pay for. And you decided to fuck yourself even more by paying for a Coachella ticket monthly.
By now, I think it's completely okay if you paid for Coachella tickets in installments or did a buy now, pay later type of thing. I think it's BS that people on here are making fun of the fact that people did that for Coachella tickets. I know people that did that years ago for Bonnaroo, like 2008, 2010. They've been doing that in Europe for years. It's completely fine. You're young, you want to do something fun, it's been a tough couple of years. Like, go to Coachella, and if you have to pay later for it, fine.
I'm going to hold your hand while I say this. I don't know why anyone is acting shocked that everybody financed their Coachella ticket. It's Klarna till I fucking die. Have you looked outside and seen the economy? And I know what some people are gonna fucking say. Well, if you can't afford it, you shouldn't go. Motherfucker, people can't afford a loaf of fucking bread, but they still want to feel human, and they still want to feel like they can go and do something and have a good time. God forbid they have to finance it. Now, some people are gonna say that's irresponsible. Some people are gonna say that that shouldn't happen. But you know what else shouldn't happen? People not being able to pay their bills while Katy Perry floats up in space saying, I'm so connected to love. Shut the fuck up.
So apparently, if you can't pay for a concert ticket or a festival ticket all up front and you have to use the payment plan option, you shouldn't be going at all. There is a huge argument going on right now on another social media app where boomers are like so upset that more than half of the people who went to Coachella used the payment plan option because they couldn't pay for the ticket all at once, like up front. It makes me laugh because I've gone to multiple festivals before and I've definitely used the payment plan option. I think that that's like a really odd assessment to make, like, well, you shouldn't be going at all if you have to use the payment plan option. Okay, so by that logic then, nobody should be buying a house because nobody can pay for a house up front. If you can't afford to pay for a house up front, you shouldn't be getting a house then. By that logic, no one should own a car because pretty much no one, especially in this economy, can pay for a car up front. So you shouldn't be making car note payments, no financing. Like, you shouldn't be doing that if you can't pay thousands and thousands and thousands upon dollars for a car. Nobody should own a car. Do you see how that sounds? God forbid people just want to treat themselves to a good time every once in a while. Why is this even a big deal? Why do people care? If you don't think Coachella is worth the money, okay, what does that have to do with the next person? Somebody else may want to go. Like, why does it matter? It's not like it's your money. It's their money. People can spend their money how they want to spend their money. What do y'all think about this? Do you think that they're right? And if you can't afford a ticket to Coachella, that you shouldn't be going at all? Or do you disagree?
Y'all, you know it's bad when white folks is going broke on White Wine Wednesday, all right? Not everything that was meant for us, just to keep a little bit more money in our pocket, sometimes it can go to our credit report, and sometimes if we're a little bit savvy, we know how to get it off of our credit report. So we pay through Affirm and Afterpay and things like that, and our Care Credit, we know how to finagle a little something, you know, to get to where we want to go. So Coachella tickets were around $600, all right? And they found out that this year was the highest, because, you know, white folks is only out there. They listening to the black folks on stage. We will always be the center of attention when it comes to entertainment, okay? So this is one of the biggest festivals of the year with majority black talent, but with Caucasian and Asian and stuff, audiences and everything just buying up our little stuff, and they're using credit to come see us. Credit. So Afterpay and Klarna and all them places have seen an uptick in over 80% of Coachella buyers use layaway. Layaway. I said, boy, I thought they was daddy's rich kids and stuff. What happened, y'all? They're gonna try to blame it on us statistically that we did it and why their companies is going into bankruptcy now and stuff when they don't get their money back. I'm just appalled that they would even go and put tickets on credit. So which means, here's the thing, Beyonce little tour may be struggling. You know, they say them Cowboy Carter tickets was $2,000, $3,000, $6,000. And so if they're using $600 credit to get Coachella tickets, then you know damn well people finna be filing bankruptcy at startovernow.org to get out of them paying them damn Beyonce tickets. I thought we put, you know, vacations on credit. But concerts? $600? Like, it's getting bad out here, y'all. Come on, have a seat, all right? Just don't be trying to act like you better than us. Moving on.
TikTok, please help me. I spent $600 for a Coachella ticket from StubHub, and back in March there were delivery issues, and the wristbands got returned to sender. I reached out right away, and an online chatbot told me, don't worry, there's still time, I'll escalate this, like, it'll be shipped. After hearing nothing, I called customer service and a representative told me he'd expedite it and I'd get it in time, guaranteed no issues. And then nothing after that. I called again a few days later and another rep told me they'd reship it or ship it to where I'm staying near the festival, or I could pick it up at the festival. They told me I would get my tickets in time. Again, nothing. Now, it's the night before Coachella. I've talked to 7 or 8 reps. Today, finally someone tells me that I'm not getting my ticket and I'm not getting a refund. I am a college student. I make $16 an hour. That is 40 hours of work gone, not even including the shuttle pass or the Airbnb, upwards of $1,000. To top it all off, the last representative hung up on me. StubHub claims they have this fan protect guarantee where if you don't get your ticket, you get a replacement or a refund. Where is that now? At 7 a.m. tomorrow, I'm literally driving a car full of people to Coachella and I don't even have a wristband. So, like, TikTok, please, what do I do? How do I get my money back? I know this is so stupid to be crying over Coachella, but, like, this is so much money, and I just want what I paid for.
Particularly with these festivals, I mean, it's so expensive. And think about it from the company's perspective, too. It's a lot easier to market something to us and say, hey, it's going to be a small monthly fee instead of a bigger upfront investment. And you're seeing consumer sentiment deteriorate. The economic environment is tough. When someone can say to you, hey, it's less than $100 a month, and this plan, by the way, is interest-free. It's only a $41 fee. You say, okay, yeah, I'll go to the desert with my friends.
That was going to be my question. I was like, are these concerts and festivals and bigger ticket items, are they sort of saying, let me take the interest that a credit card company would have taken? But no, they're not. It's just a fee usually.
So Coachella specifically, it's a $41 fee. It's a $600 ticket for this weekend. And so when you're able to spread that out over multiple months, it's a better cash flow thing.
Yeah.
It's not always the case, though, because broadly, buy now, pay later, sometimes there is interest. There are fees if you miss a payment and that type of thing. But specifically, Coachella isn't charging fees.
But, I've gotten in credit card trouble before, and the way you get into credit card trouble before is because you make yourself a little promise, a personal deal that this one time, and then you're going to pay it off, but then you make that deal over and over again, and before you know it, you got a lump you can't pay.
Yeah. That's exactly right. And especially with buy now, pay later, we are seeing people get more comfortable. They think they have more room in their budget. And they will often take on multiple of these BNPL loans. And they don't think about, oh, actually, I just committed to this long-term thing that I need to keep paying. And then actually, the CFPB, that's the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, they said 43% of BNPL users overdrew on their bank accounts last year. So the data shows this can be a bit dangerous, but it does provide some more cash flow liquidity.
I feel like I'm being a little like get off my lawn right now because I'm like, no, this is a bad idea. I get it. You want the experience, but you can't afford it. Are we seeing a big difference in the generations as far as thinking this is good and bad?
That's absolutely right, Dana. I actually talked to a number of analysts in this space, and they said especially Gen Zers and millennials, there's been this psychological shift to YOLO, you only live once, because those traditional things that you would save for every month, like home ownership, that's getting pushed out. It feels further and further away. And so people are prioritizing these immediate experiences with their friends and their family. I will out myself. I was a Coachella goer and I did use the payment plan because that was exciting, but you have to be honest with yourself. Is this something that fits in your budget?
Are going broke because they use a payment plan for Coachella is one of the most unserious takes I've heard in a while, but saying 60% of people are using payment plans, which equates to basically people being poor, which is so not true. The majority of people do not want to spend $600 in one day, and $60 a month sounds more doable, especially in this economy. Damn. It's a pretty common thing people do for festivals, but I forget that a lot of people don't go to any festival but Coachella, so it's maybe shocking to people. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, that does not make sense, and that article's dumb.
This is everything we paid to be at Coachella this year. So, the ticket, we bought a hotel package. So we're staying in a hotel. There's 4 of us sharing a room. So we got 2 queen beds, which is quite good. So me and Julie are sharing a bed, and then our other 2 friends are sharing a bed. So if you're happy to share a room with people, it's gonna work out a lot cheaper. So our package includes 4 nights in a hotel,
the shuttles back and forth,
the shuttle pass to get from here to Coachella, because we're about a 30-minute drive from the actual campsite, and something else. Oh, the festival ticket for 3 days. So we paid each in pounds. I think it was £1,100.
£1,100, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that was one of the cheaper packages. But if we'd have booked it even earlier, I think there were other hotels. There was 1 or 2 other hotels that had sold out by the time we bought that had a cheaper package. So you can do it even cheaper than that. So obviously that doesn't cover your flight. That doesn't cover food. It doesn't cover getting to LA or getting to Palm Springs. So this is the other thing you need to think about is we hired a car.
We did.
Which was a bit of a drama.
Oh my god, what a day.
What a day yesterday was. Oh my god. The drive was 4 hours.
Maybe even more?
Maybe slightly over 4 hours. We were in the airport, we were in the car rental place for ages. Just everything took 40 minutes to an hour longer than we thought it would. And then the drive itself, I think we kind of expected the drive would be about 4 hours.
Yes.
But without traffic, if it wasn't Coachella, I think ordinarily if you're driving from LAX to Palm Springs, it probably only takes about 2 hours.
2 hours, 2 hours and a half or something.
Yeah, but because of the traffic, it was like double it.
It was so much fun.
Yeah, but thing is, I've always thought Coachella is one of those things that's just like so expensive that I would never be able to afford going. But when you consider what the package gets you, I think it's a good deal.
It's actually doable.
It's really doable.
It's doable.
And obviously that's to get a hotel. If you're willing to camp, it's going to be cheaper. So look at the options, but that's what it cost us, and that's how we've managed to be able to afford to come here. It's still a big expense, obviously. It's not something that you can just do casually, but it's not as unaffordable as you might think it is.
Yeah, it's not as bad as you think.
Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna go have fun and get ready. See you later. Bye.
You need to believe me when I say this generation is cooked. According to data from this year Coachella, it shows that 60% of tickets this year were bought on finance, like people are seriously financing festival tickets now. And it's not just the $600 ticket. We're literally financing everything these days. Few years ago, buy now, pay later was mostly for big things, like houses, cars, or phones. But now, in 2025, many companies are offering the buy now, pay later financing as means of payment, even Uber Eats. Like we're literally going into debt over dinner. Perhaps it's not fully our fault. With cost of living crisis, people are usually expected cut back on stuff they don't need, like you choose between your rent and a night out, which now meant companies would lose money. So they adjusted. Can't afford it now? Cool. Buy now and spread the payment pay over 10 weeks. And it worked. With the amount of debt being accumulated by the Gen Z, many now doubt they'll own a home by 35. So the big question is buy now, pay later helping us survive a broken economy, or just keeping us broke and further away from ever owning a home?